Welcome to Walking with Jesus Bible Study. We're going to be in the book of Luke, chapter 17, verse 17. And this is going to be Jesus speaking. And Jesus answering said, "Were there not 10 cleansed? But where are the 9?" And I'm going to repeat that. And Jesus answering said, "Were there not 10 cleansed? But where are the 9?" This is referring to when Jesus healed the 10 leprosies, and on the walk, and they took off, but only one turned around and came back and thanked Jesus. And he was a Samaritan, and the others were of the Jews. What? There's no such thing as coincidence when it comes to God. Everything has a reason. Everything has a purpose. No matter who you are, where you live, God makes sure of that. He tells you that so that you constantly know that you are worth something to Him, that He created you for a reason and for a purpose. Every grain of sand matters. Every hair on your head counted. And every story in this book matters. Every sentence in every verse. And there is a very good reason why this verse was put in here. Why does it matter? Because God knows everything. He knows the beginning and the end. And most people in their walking in this journey use God for the gifts, for the miracles, and the blessings, and nothing else. They act like He's a genie in a bottle. They act like He's just hippie, I love you kind of relationship God that has, that there's no wrath in Him. Because we're living in the New Testament, and He's all loving and forgiving and forgetting to have any fear. But even just as much as it is in the Old, in the New Testament, it tells you that you need to have the fear of God. And that's what's wrong with the world today. They've got this wrong picture of Jesus, and they're mistaking His kindness for weakness. They're mistaking His love, grace, mercy, and forgiveness, and patience and tolerance, for that they can do whatever they want. But what does the Bible tell you that you need to have? A personal relationship with God. Now, how many of you would continue to have you in the lives, if you was in a relationship and the only attention that you got was how you treated Jesus? Would you still be around? Would you want anything to do with you? If all you is after is just for the gifts? Because I know this world today, no. In fact, this world has gotten so selfish that if somebody's in need, instead of helping them because it's the right thing to do because they want to, the first thing that most people come out of their mouth is, "What's in it for me? What is in it for me? What you going to do for me?" And it's sad. It's heartbreaking. But this is the truth, and Jesus is telling you that most people are not even grateful or thankful for the blessings, for the relationship, for the things that they have. Most people complain. You know the whole reason why the Israelites, that first generation, and they was God's chosen. So don't think that just because you was chosen that you're going to make it to the end and that you're going to be welcome to the gates. Because as we can clearly see, the first generation, none of them made it in. And God said, none of y'all were my chosen people. And y'all are not seeing the promised land. Again, there was a reason why that point was made. We got to wake up. And we need to stop paying attention to this prosperity gospel, this hippie-loving Jesus gospel, because it's not true. This is why it is very important you read the Bible for yourself. Okay? We are all in the wilderness until Jesus comes back or we die. Until we make it to the promised land. And what was the biggest thing? Not just the sin. Pay attention now. It wasn't just the sin that the Israelites was committing in the desert. It was their complaining, the ungratefulness, and their selfishness that was making God irate with them. And what is almost everybody doing in their prayer life right now? They only see blessings as of, oh, you know, God's going to bless me with a bigger house. God don't care about your bigger house. He don't care about your car. What do you say? Put your treasures for where things are in heaven, where they can't be stolen, where they can't be rotted, where a big thunderstorm or a flood can't destroy it. He wants to give you gifts that's going to last you forever. When he means forever, he means eternity. Yes, God can bless people to where they have the ability to have bigger and nice things. But that's not what you should put your focus on. And everybody bases the whole relationship and the whole entire blessings on such things that they don't see the blessings and the miracles that he pours out into their lives on a daily basis. Besides just waking them up. The fact that they have love and companionship. Even if you're all alone and you have pets, you know, you still have that friendship. And the most important thing that most people overlooked when they're talking about, I'm so lonely, you act like God is nothing. You're not alone. God is with you. And that's the problem. The number one big problem, almost every single person who calls himself Christian, when it looks to everything, is they forget that God is there every day. And he is everything. He should be your everything to you. And he's not. It's something that you pull out on an occasion, or when you need something, or when you're in a 911 situation. And after that, it's nothing besides, hey, God, thank you for this food. Dear God, I just want to say thank you for waking me up again. Dear God, before I go to bed, I just want to say thank you for, you know, having me today, and that's it. You don't include him in the big decisions. You know, the enemy loves to keep you from what God has from you. And a lot of times y'all are thinking these bright ideas, these good ideas, well, this came from God, and it did not. And then you wonder why it didn't work out. Well, you know, this was from God, so it's supposed to work out. Because it wasn't from God. You were listening to the wrong voices. And why didn't you hear the correct voice? Maybe because you don't treat God correctly enough to hear his voice. When you make it all about you and what you want and what you get, that's selfishness, that's pride, that's arrogance. Whose voice do you think you're going to hear? And I'm going to tell you right now, just because you have the Holy Spirit in you, doesn't mean that everything that you say, everything that you think, and everything that you do is going to be blessed because it was the Holy Spirit acting. No, you forget. God placed his spirit inside you, which is a vessel, which is flesh. And what does it say to do? You got to deny yourself, kill your flesh, and walk in the spirit. But if you're living in the flesh, doing fleshy things, how can you be walking in the spirit when your flesh is coming first? What I want, greed, gluttony, laziness. My friends, before I close out, I just want to remind you, how are you receiving and how are you treating your relationship with God? Are you the Good Samaritan that's turned around and thanking him and is grateful and is appreciative and can see the blessings in everything? Or are you the Jews that is just using him for his miracles and blessings like a genie in a bottle? God bless.